Circumstances do not make a man or woman. They reveal him or her. And that is a quote of the day. Welcome back to the Quote of the Day show. I'm your host, Sean Croxton of SeanCroxton.com. I hope you are crushing your week and you're ready for this wisdom from the late, the great Dr. Wayne Dyer. Whenever I'm in a pickle and I need to find a clip within like 20 minutes, I just open up one of my many Wayne Dyer programs, just randomly pick a track, listen to it, and I've got it because the man had so much wisdom. And this clip is really important to me because over this last year or so, I've learned something from several people, especially Tony Robbins, is when I'm feeling down or when my emotions just aren't right, I have to consciously ask myself, what are you focusing on? Where is your focus, Sean? And typically, my focus is on something that is missing in my life, something that is not here, something that I lost. And then I have to make that shift. I remind myself to make the shift, to get into that state of gratitude and to be thankful for all of the things that I have, as well as all of the things that are coming. And so that's just a real simple shift. It takes a second, and it's just really a big game changer. And so hope you enjoy this clip from Dr. Wayne Dyer. I will see you on the other side.
Circumstances do not make a man. They reveal him. Boy, is that a lot of truth. And you know, a lot of people will think, yeah, but what about these poor people here? Yeah, circumstances reveal you. You got to get that. You got to know that in order to get to the point to forgive, that you have to have blamed. You really don't have anything to forgive. Forgiveness is really an empty thing. There's nothing to forgive. If you didn't blame, you wouldn't have anybody to forgive. So what you do is get past blame, and the way you get past that is to forgive people. And what you do is then forgive yourself for having blamed. And once you do that, then you don't blame anymore. You take responsibility for everything. How come when I go through the poorest neighborhoods, the poorest, where the unemployment rate is the absolute highest in the state of Florida, in a neighborhood 2 miles from where I live, 2 miles, and you see the sloppiest lawns any place in the state of Florida, and more trash on the front lawns than any place. How come? When the unemployment is so high. I mean, I would think it'd be the other way around. Now, these are people who got nothing else to do all day long. They're not working. And they got trash all over their lawns. I'm working my tail end off all 24 hours a day, and there's not a piece of trash on my lawn. How do you account for that? Circumstances do not make a man. They reveal him. You got to really get that. Now, if you've got scarcity in your life, you have to understand that what you think about expands. This is really important. If you can understand that whatever is missing in your life is what you think about all the time, if you think about all the things that are missing in your life and you wonder why they keep expanding, it's because you're thinking about them all the time and you're acting on that scarcity consciousness. And that people who have enough, even though they don't have as much as you, don't ever think about what they don't have. They think about what they do have. If a guy with a scarcity consciousness has $100 in his pocket and $500 in debt, he's focusing on the debt. He's always focused on what's missing and what I got to pay and what I got. The other guy with a prosperity consciousness is thinking about the $100 he's got. I got $100, and is going to invest it or do something with it, and is focused on that. And that, what he has here, will expand. And if you focus on your debt, then that will expand. And in your relationships, if you focus on what's missing in the person that you're in a relationship with, then that's what's going to expand. You're going to keep seeing it over and over again. You're going to say, you know, I'm in a relationship. And you say, oh, yeah, you're in a relationship? Oh, well, me too. I'm in a relationship too. Yeah, well, we got problems. Oh, yeah, you got problems? Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, we got problems too. We got problems, yeah. I'm in a relationship, and we got problems, so there must be something wrong. Something wrong. Because you got problems in a relationship. So now you're focused on what's wrong. So now you got to call in a consultant. come in and help you with your relationship, but you can't afford it, so you can only call on yourself. But who are you going to call in? You got to call in somebody who's already wrong. So now you're calling in a disabled person to work on your relationship. What's the problem in your relationship? Well, she always whines, and then I always talk back to her real angry, and then she whines. Imagine calling in a consultant and being able to afford it, and the consultant walks in and says, well, how come you always talk like that, and you're always doing that to him? You say, wait a minute, you're disabled. You can't help us. You wouldn't call on somebody that was wrong in order to work on the things that were missing in your relationship, would you? You want to know why? Because nothing is missing. How could it be missing? What's missing? There's nothing missing. She is just the way she is. And if you've got problems, that's exactly the way it is. That's perfect. You're supposed to. There's nothing wrong with that. She's the way she is. You're the way you are. Stop making her wrong, and I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to look at what she is. It's like in the whole book that I wrote on raising children, and what do you really want for your children? The whole emphasis of it is find them doing things right. You want your kids to be troublemakers, catch them doing things wrong, and that will expand. You always focus on what's missing. There's a little girl in our neighborhood who comes over, and she's got her 2 fingers in her mouth all the time. And her father, every time she puts her hands in her mouth, he tells her to take her hands out of her mouth. So he's constantly thinking about this thing that she's doing that he doesn't like. And whenever she comes to our house, I say, Margot, fantastic, you don't have your fingers in your mouth. And she does. And whenever she sees me, she's always taking her fingers out of her mouth. When she sees her father, she's putting them in because that's what he expects. And her mother will come to pick her up, and I'll say, guess what, Debbie? Margot didn't have her fingers in her mouth for 3 hours today. Isn't that terrific? And she looks so proud, and she looks so happy. And then her father gets in the car and says, damn it, I told you, take your fingers out of your mouth. He's always catching her doing things wrong. What you think about expands. So all the things that are missing in your life that you don't like, all the problems, all the lack of money, all the lack of whatever it is that you think you would like to have, that is expanding because that's what you think about. And if you want abundance in your life, then focus on everything you have and be really, really grateful for anything that you have. And understand that you can't own anything anyway. You just get a little lease on it. Is that helpful? Every time I start thinking about what my wife should be like, then she continues to be the way she shouldn't be. But whenever I remind myself of how great she is and how wonderful she is and how much I love her and I'm so thankful that she's in my life and she's just such a light. So I don't want to focus on that, what's missing, ever. I don't want to focus on it. I want to focus on what is there and let that expand. And it will expand because of what I just said about visualization, right? You act upon what you think about. And your feelings come from what you think about. Feelings come from thoughts. They're the physical reaction to thoughts. So if you've got a lot of unhappy feelings, you got to look at the thoughts that back them up and start expanding in your universe, in your one song, what you want to expand, not what is scarce. Get off of scarcity thoughts unless you want them to continue to expand. And that's the whole basis on abundance. It's so easy to get. It all works perfectly. It all works perfectly when you get your thoughts on what you have rather than what's missing.
That was Dr. Wayne Dyer. You can learn more about him at waynedyer.com. Get his audio programs, pick up his books. Like, again, everything that he does is absolutely incredible. Today's clip comes from Dr. Dyer's audio program, Inner Wisdom, the best of Wayne Dyer. You can get that on Audible at nightingale.com, as well as on the Nightingale Conant Insiders app. That is it for me. I will see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful Wednesday. See you soon. Thanks so much. Peace.